Join me as I take on the challenge of creating my own animated character in Clip Studio Paint. Let's see if I can bring my own imagination to life. Creating your own animated character can seem intimidating, but it's actually more accessible than you think. Clip Studio Paint makes it easy for anyone to get started, regardless of their skill level. Whether you're a seasoned artist or a complete beginner, you can bring your own characters to life with just a few simple steps. One of the biggest hurdles people face when starting to animate is getting comfortable with the tools. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the options and features. I've been there too, trying to figure out how to use all the brushes, tones, and effects. But with a little practice, you'll be gliding through the interface in no time. Another challenge is coming up with a character design that you love. It's hard to create something that's both unique and visually appealing. I spent hours sketching out ideas, trying to get them to look just right. Character design is all about experimentation and having fun. Don't be afraid to try out new things and see what works. And don't worry if your first attempts aren't perfect. That's all part of the process. Clip Studio Paint has a huge library of resources and tutorials that can help you get started. From custom brushes to animated tips, they've got you covered. So what makes Clip Studio Paint so great for character creation? For starters, the brushes are incredibly versatile. You can create everything from smooth gradients to textured effects. The layer system is also super intuitive, making it easy to organize and edit your artwork. And when it comes to animation, the software is everything you need to bring your character to life. You can create complex animations with ease using techniques like tweening and onion skinning. The animation tools in Clip Studio Paint are really where the magic happens. You can set up scenes, add motion, and even export your animations as video or GIFs. I love how easy it is to experiment with different effects and techniques. Here's a quick look at how I brought my character to life. I'll fast forward through some of the steps, but I want you to give you an idea of how easy it is to create an animated character in Clip Studio Paint. To give you a better idea, let me walk you through the process. Okay, so this is my Clip Studio Paint console, if you will. Just to orient you to the screen, you've got, of course, your image areas up here on top. To the right here are all of the layers that make up the animated scene. And I'll go more in depth into that here in a minute. And of course, the most important part is the timeline, which is down here below. So the first thing I had to do was, once I had my character designed, was I made a copy of the actual characters. I'm going to turn all these off. And, here's the flattened image of my character. So what I did next was I took the selection tool and I copied and pasted the head, the arm, and the legs, all on their own separate layer. And once I did that, I then converted the layer to a image material layer. So it starts out when you're drawing, you're typically drawing on either a raster layer or a vector layer. By converting these to an image material layer, now I'm able to then add or create selections and then move them around, like so. Down here in my timeline, as you can see, I've got keyframes enabled. So what that will do is, as I move my timeline through here, see these individual keyframes? These are all the recorded key stops, if you will, of where the movement is happening with the character. So I just advance the timeline, move the element that I want to move, go to the next timeline, change that element, and then when I go back to the beginning of my timeline and I hit play, you can see that it starts moving. Now, I'll show you a shortcut. So what I like to do is, let's say the first couple seconds of motion, let's turn his head back up here, kind of creepy about his head. Let's say I like these first 4 keyframes. All I do is I highlight them with my pen. I'm going to hit Control C, and then I'll just Control V. Oops, not Control V. I'll do actually with my mouse, just with my mouse. Paste. There. Now I've pasted the same keyframes into a new location on my timeline, so I don't have to animate those sections all over again, because if I like the first sequence and I want it to repeat, then all I need to do is copy and paste those sequences over again, and it saves a lot of time. Now you might want to go in and change your animations, based on if you're actually doing a scene. In this case, it was just a character dancing for everyone's pleasure, and so there's not a whole lot of tweaking that I need to do there. So when I have everything done, I put everything into its own folder. It's just a normal folder, not to be confused with an animation folder. If we were doing, the actual drawing animation where I'm drawing a scene in an onion skinning. So this is all in the folder. And then what I did was I created a couple of gradient maps on top, just to change the color a little bit. So this particular scene that he was in, it was a dark scene against kind of a snowy cottage background. So I added some gradient maps in here to kind of give it that nighttime glowy kind of look. And of course, I got rid of the background. There's no background at all, because that way, in my movie that I've also posted a link to, I say movie. It's a video with music in the background. I've got the character dancing, and so I turned it into a GIF, and then in CapCut set them as an overlay. To wrap things up, creating an animated character in Clip Studio Paint is easier than you think. By following a few simple steps and practicing your skills, you can bring your own characters to life. So don't be afraid to get creative and try new things. If you created your own animated characters, I want to see them. Share your work in the comments below. Be sure to check out my other tutorials for tips and tricks on using Clip Studio Paint.